What's up guys, my name is ESO and I'd like to welcome you to the channel. In fact, if you're watching this, I'd like to welcome you to Fallout. I get new people on my channel every single day who are wondering, what is Fallout? And I don't blame you. It's a pretty hard thing to get your head around. I mean, the game is huge, and the story is just another world in itself. Or even if you're not new, you might like to watch this video anyway, or just to help people with questions in the comments. So I'm pretty much going to be summarizing what the game's story is all about, so you can make up your mind whether you are interested in giving it a go, or maybe you just want to catch up with the story before you start playing. The Fallout games are based on a made up scenario where the United States decide to try and rely almost solely on fusion power, basically running their country on one resource. It was supposed to be some kind of golden age with advanced robots, nuclear powered cars, and other futuristic technologies. But it just wasn't meant to be. More than 200 years before Fallout, an energy crisis occurred, resulting in a sudden depletion of petroleum reserves. So what happened was that the United States got in a fight over some oil found off the Pacific coast. This starts a war between the Chinese and the States, which eventually ends in a nuclear exchange, resulting in the post-apocalyptic world which the game takes place in. Luckily, before this nuclear attack happened, lots of vaults were constructed by a company called Vault-Tec in collaboration with the United States government. It's presumed that the company primarily wanted to protect the populace from the dangers of radiation. However, only 122 vaults were known to have been constructed, and over 400,000 would have been needed to house the entire nation. And as you find out when you play the game, this is because the vaults were not ever intended to save humanity, but were actually meant to function as social experiments. So all these vaults were different. Each had a variable or an aim or a specific goal to achieve, supposedly for the good of science, like scientific experiments. For example, there were some who had GECKs, also known as Garden of Eden creation kits. These were supposed to help rebuild civilization after the nukes went off, but there are also far scarier stories, like one vault where one person from the vault would be sent deeper within the vault periodically. They were actually sent away to die, however the rest of the vault did not know that they had died. They only knew that the person never came back. So the rest of the members of the vault were told that as soon as you stop sending people, we cannot guarantee your safety. However, when they did eventually stop sending people away, they were congratulated as having passed the experiment. Now, if you think that's disturbing, just wait until you hear about some of the others you'll find while playing the game. Anyway, each installment of the series uses the exact same backstory as the foundation for the story. But another important thing to mention is that each game in the Fallout series is standalone, in the sense that the main story is not connected. So for example, it's not like watching the second Lord of the Rings movie and not understanding what the hell's going on, or what the plot is, or what the point of the story is because you missed the first one. What I mean is that you can play Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, or even Fallout 4 as a complete beginner in whatever order you like, and the only thing you'll miss out on is the backstory. So that's what I'm going to tell you about now. You already know about the setting, but of course there are also people that inhabit the wasteland. Not just the people inside the vaults. I'm talking about factions. Different groups that were seeking power, money, glory, or even trying to establish a political system. Some were even just trying to help the people of the wasteland. That's another thing about Fallout. You get to choose about who you want to help, and the decisions you make will have consequence. Now, there are two main factions that pop up throughout the series. Firstly, the Brotherhood of Steel, a group of people dedicated to the collection and preservation of pre-war knowledge and technology. They are often seen as the good guys. However, pre-war tech is pretty much an obsession to them. They descended from the American military survivors and only breed internally. They're a very private organisation, though to be honest they can be very selfish, not sharing any of their resources for the greater good of mankind. However, in Fallout 3 we actually see them help distribute clean water to the people of the wasteland, and almost act a bit like protectors of the waste, actively seeking to protect its inhabitants from the irradiated monsters. Next up, we have the Enclave. Now, if the Brotherhood of Steel were the good guys, you can think of the Enclave as the bad guys, but you can read into it as much as you like. In my opinion, they are both doing what they think is best for the Wasteland, which is to make an authority figure. The Enclave are what used to be the federal government. They actually have access to amazing technology that was all developed before the war, like energy weapons and the most advanced power armor, better than the Brotherhood of Steel's power armor. Power armor, by the way, is like a mechanized suit that enhances your strength and your perception. It's considered like the best armor in the game. Anyway, the Enclave are very similar to the Brotherhood of Steel, but with conflicting goals and political views. Their main goal is to wipe out all mutants in the Wasteland, so they can restore the old world, pretty much before the war, but to the extent that they consider literally everything living in the Wasteland, including civilians who have been exposed to radiation, to be unimportant. They're very elitist people. But the Enclave and the Brotherhood of Steel appear in every single Fallout game, and they're the main two factions. But you also have people of the Wasteland who have built some settlements and are really trying to do the best they can to get by. Some of these people have even been turned into ghouls due to exposed radiation, and more unfortunate souls have even been turned into feral ghouls, which are pretty much ghouls that have been exposed to a lot of radiation and just lost their mind completely. I guess you could call it a zombie. That brings me on to my next point. The Wasteland is a dangerous place, full of raiders and super mutants. A super mutant was the result of a pre-war experiment that attempted to force evolution on humans. It basically failed and turned them into biologically immortal mutants that couldn't reproduce, which are actually hostile to humans. There are, of course, the Vault Dwellers, people who have lived and been born in vaults all over the Wasteland and never set foot outside the vault since the nukes went off. Some of them don't even know it's safe to come out yet, and some of them just aren't allowed ever to leave. There are quite a few more factions in the Wastelands, like in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, there are a few more factions that have been added, but I'll let you find out about those for yourself. I've now given you a rough foundation from which you can probably start playing any of the Fallout games with at least a simple understanding of the scale of the situation and the powers at play. This is really just a small background story though, to set you on your way. So if you're still not sure about playing the game, why not go ahead and check out one of my Fallout Let's Plays. I'll leave a link to them in the description. My channel basically makes guide for the Fallout games, so if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe. But more importantly, if you have any questions about Fallout, or maybe you just want to know something else, then just ask me in the comments. I'll either make another video about it and link it in the description below, or I'll just reply to your comment, or another helpful person will. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, I hope it was helpful, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.